Hello YouTube. I'm gonna talk about a controversial subject. That's what I think of as quality in cutting tools. I'm gonna start with outdoors and get some thoughts about what I mean is quality. First off, quality to me is, can I trust the product? Does it do the job I want it to do and the job it was intended to do? For example, if you buy a tin outdoor carving blade like a Mora knife that's intended for very fine wood carving, you can't intend that to beton big pieces and take hard abuse. And the same thing if you buy a SE Jungelas, how you pronounce it, which is a big survival shopper. Well, you can, but you can't expect it to be good at fine carving and very fine tin knife tasks. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with, I only have one folder, but I've owned several. Most Spyderco I think of are high quality, Benchmade, yeah, so many. I see when I pick up a knife, first off I check how is the fit and finish. This is a cheap Kisser, titanium, not titanium. Titanium scales is, if I remember correct. Observe me well. Good deep pocket carry clip. Easy to adjust. I don't need any special tools. I can use nearly whatever to adjust the tension of the pivot. It flips out easy. No force needed. But still, you see I don't pinch here. But it won't get open. It got a, can you see I'm flexing my finger. I hope this picks up before it flicks open. So you need a little force before it flicks open. This is a Kaiser SLT. Everything got flipped. It's Kaiser KI447 4A2 S35EN. Nicknamed the slot SLT by John Gray. This is S35EN. It's, I reckon it's around 60 HRC. It's not the thinnest, but it's, I've thinned it and made it fairly thin. So it's pretty thin behind the edge. This is a knife I often use around the boat, cutting rope and stuff. Easy to flip. So why do I choose this as an example of quality? First, ergonomics. It hits up here to stop my finger, and it got a extremely good thumb ampere. It's extremely secure here. You can also choke up on it using your fuck you finger here to stop. Got a sharpening notch. Actually, it's so sharp that if I do that, you see it takes off skin. So got a hardened steel. I hope this gets through. On the lockup bar here, hardened steel lockup. It locks up on that very nicely. No blade play any places at all. very easy. Just use my thumb. Just listen to the detailed soft closing and that little pop. Can you hear that? There. So yeah, it's pretty okay, easy to sharpen. Takes a fantastic edge. I got good edge retention. This is a high quality, very cheap for the money. I've had several Spydercos, and yes, this easily compares to them in fit and finish, overall material quality. The best folder I've ever had was the Spyderco Gale Bradley, the first model. The only thing was the liner lock was so heavy it wear away your thumb. This is so easy. I just do that like that. Oop. And closes. I think you can actually, if you are a little tough, you can do it one-handed. But you see, it closed on my thumb. You see that? That's how sharp it is. It closed on my thumb and cut it open. Can you see that? So that's how sharp my knives are. When you try to fiddle with one arm, you do like this. Close it one-handed if you want to. Just don't be an idiot and close it on your thumb. That's what you get when you want to show off. That's the only folder I got. It's illegal to carry knives in Norway, except for outdoor trips. I got that in my boat bag, so I use it there. Outdoor knives, I think you need fixed blades. I got of course my cheap Mora knives, but I wouldn't trust these. These are production from line steel. Great sheet. Great sheet. I mean, this could be a custom easy. See, it's so snug. It's, yeah, it snaps in, it wraps around here, very snug. When you draw it out, it's very snug. This is the M4 from Landsteel, Moletta design in M390 steel. People say M390 is so fragile, blah blah blah. Well, I haven't had one problem with it. What surprises me about this, it's very nicely rounded in the spine, which means if you use your thumb to push into cuts, it's very nice, but still sharp spine. Could easily strike a ferro rod with this. And of course, nice sharpening knot, nice G10 handles, feels extremely well in the hand. And of course, with all my knives, I keep them sharp. M390 is a little more bitchy to sharpen, but it ain't often you need to sharpen if you keep it sharp. Great blade, I can highly recommend. Quality, quality, quality. I've beaten and abused this. I've scraped the edge 90 degrees to wood. I batoned, done hard carving, never gotten a chip. It's not very thin behind the edge, but it's actually fairly thin. So, my customs. We'll start with 2 from Aaron Johnson. Then, no, I can start with my shopper from Patrick Halvik. This is the one knife. If my knife depends on it, I'm gonna take. The sheet, just flawless Kydex sheet. You just put your thumb there, push. I put some force on the spine so it goes spine up so I don't drag the edge. This is 8670 chopper. Takes a fantastic edge. Is fairly thin. It's grind two ways. It's from here and down and from here and up. So it's thinner up here than here. So it batons well, it releases well. Just a fantastic blade. Chops like, yeah, like a beast, you've seen it. Good handle. I just put some, Wilson tennis racket tape on it to aid when I baton so you don't get lots of shock. This can take a beating, but it's still extremely thin. I hope you can see that. Let me see how thin that is. The very tip. It's extremely thin to be a chopper. Takes and holds one hell of a edge. Remember, this is a big ass chopper. I would trust my life on this blade. I'm sorry towards Aaron, but this thing is ground much better than any of his blades. The heat treat is also better. It's thinner, more even ground. The fit and finish is better. It's better made. Aaron Johnson makes fantastic blades. I won't say anything bad, but this is better made. It's thinner than any knife I got from him, the ATC RE2 and the Magnacut, because he doesn't dare to go as thin. He needs to trust himself more. But I've taken them thinner and they perform. But the heat rate on this and the 8670 being a tougher steel also, being thinner also means better edge retention. The edge retention on this is actually pretty damn good to be outdoor blade. If I want to cut rope and cardboard, this wouldn't be my choice. Go for a harder steel with more carbides. But for a chopper and wood knife, fantastic. I love this blade. Since it's carbon, I'm just wiping it off so it doesn't rust. I haven't had any problems with it rusting. It's got a patina as you see too, and it's a fantastic blade. We're gonna get the kitchen knife after. Just slip that in the sheets. The first outdoor custom from Aaron in my own design. Good sheet. I love the dangler. Absolutely do. Nothing wrong with the sheet if you carry it this knife down, but look how floppy it is. But if you carry it this way, it won't escape, but I wouldn't carry it this way. It's retained by this strap, but still very floppy. He has later improved this. The knife, excellent fit and finish, excellent, on par with Patrick Kalvik, easy. Good handle scales, ground down here for pinch grip. Very good ground, but difference, as I said, is in evenness. It's always, when I got them from Aaron, he has admitted it, it's a little thinner back here, a little little thicker up here. Just later changed that. Also, when I got this, it was way too thick. Thin it out quite a bit. I hope you can see that. And it's pretty thin. I made a shinogi basically. If you blade about here and here, thinning the entire knife. This is very high quality, very high. It's Patrick Alvik is 10 out of 10. This is basically 9.5 out of 10. If it was thinner, it would be 10 out of 10. The heat rate on this 80 CRV3 knife, perfect. Literally perfect. Same with 8670 from Patrick. Takes and holds a hell of a edge. But Patrick got, what do I say, better equipment, probably more experience. He does this full time and such. But a lovely blade, don't get me wrong, it's a perfect blade. I'm just being extremely picky. The new one he made, the retention snap, as you see, it's can you see that? It isn't big enough, this flare. It just opens, or the hole here are way too big. But it's a much improved sheet, as you see, and it pops out. So again, if you keep it that way, perfect, but not other. I'm just showing you for reference. This is why I like Kydex. Nothing, and Kydex doesn't build. He said it itself, this is a test knife, but you see a little dip in the bevel there, a little here, tiny things. I love the handle, I love the knife. This too was much thinner here than here. We're talking like 30-40%. I've also needed to thin this much. And I mean much, like we're talking hours work. Aaron, the only thing, he makes fantastic blades. He didn't get to test the Magnacut before because it's so damn expensive, you can't make test pieces. The heat wrist of this, I feel it's good. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong, takes a fantastic edge, holds it wrong. I just think there's a little more to gain in Magnacut. But yeah, I haven't tested other Magnacut's blades, so I might be wrong. Fantastic blade, nothing wrong with it, it just could be a lot thinner. Very sharp spine, very sharp. I've sharpened it quite a bit on the blade grinding attachment from Canadian. Yeah, I test Magnacut is very impressive steel. Also my own design. Again, frighteningly sharp. I would trust my life both to the 80 CRV2 blade from him and the Magnacut blade, so extremely high quality. He just needs to get his how even the grind are, the same thickness, that needs to be better because it's often a little thicker here, and you need to try to go thinner. You need to challenge yourself. They can be very thin. This is very thin now. Here it's the sharpening shovel, so it looks thicker, but if you see at the very edge, the very tip, it's pretty thin. And again, scaringly sharp. So, the great Aaron Johnson is a very good maker, but his sheets need to improve a little. His evenness in the grind, and that's it. It just practice, practice, practice. He makes fantastic blades. I love getting blades from him. It's just if I want to be extremely picky. So, kitchen blades. Don't get me wrong, quality matters, but you are cutting food. You aren't relying on them. I'm gonna start with customs from Patrick Kalvik. Chinese cleaver. You can see how thin that spine is. I don't even know if you can see how thin that is. 75 CR1, it's basically 1075 if I'm not wrong, but it's so thin I can easily flex it. But trust me, this won't do heavy stuff, but through cabbage, Swedes, turnips, onions, potatoes, 90% of the stuff you see, it flies through it. It's so damn thin. It's a lightsaber. Lovely blocky handle. You feel really secure, but when you pinch up, it's a little too big. It needs to be a little rounded here. It's a little sharp at the spine and the underside here, but it's a lovely test blade. Again, it isn't dull. I'm now being extremely picky, but all these blades are test blades. I love this. Then the Nylux Nakiri, little too thick spine. It's a little too thick, but it's extremely thin behind the edge. I mean, quite literally, it's see-through at the edge. So thin, it's next to impossible to get to camera. It's basically a straight razor at the edge. Again, just effortless. He wanted me to test this deal, and trust me, and the S grind, it's just, he could take away little hair at the spine, little hair too, but it's extremely good. Extremely good. It never got stalled. I actually like the pretty cheap as test handle here. I don't know why, but it feels very good in the pinch grip, very good in the hand. This is a little blade heavy, as you see. I actually like that because it's the blade that does the work. You just basically are doing this with your wrist. You can go like that, like a locomotive. You can go back and forth, but I usually just do like this. Maybe the best paring knife ever from Patrick Alvik. It's a lot like the Robert Herder Soling and windmill knives. Extremely thin, and basically goes down to a 0 from midway and down. This also got some flex, but it's a paring knife. This often just sees the underside of a ceramic plate. And that's enough. Fantastic. This is how a paring knife should be. Light and thin. You can choke up, you can use the point if you are doing delicate stuff. If you are peeling potatoes, you can use it like that. It's fantastic. Now one knife, I've talked to several other, including steel makers. Everyone says it's impossible except Patrick. This is supposed to be ABL at 65 HRC, if it was remembered correctly. Many says it's impossible to get ABL that high, and not in the first place. Some say it's without tempering, blah blah blah. I tested this, it feels hard as F. I don't know if the hardness is correct, but I see no doubt in doubting Patrick. It's a fantastic blade. Again, it's my next thinnest knife, or as thin as the Nylox. It's nearly impossible to tell. It's extremely thin. It's the same with the Nylox knacker. It's basically 5-6 degrees. You see it's starting to flat out here, and it's a hollow ground. It's yeah, this and the Nylox knacker, trust me, those are high performing. Again, it never goes dull. It's basically because it's so thin. Let's see here, I go like that. Just a fantastic knife. This is my favorite kitchen knife profile. There's the slack profile, could be a little taller, because as you see, if I do like this, I never do, but yeah, I usually keep it at a pinch, but it's not very much knuckle clearance. If it comes down maybe 5 millimeter more, perfect. Lovely bunka Santoku style knife. I love this. I love this. Perfect heat rate. That was 4 customs from Patrick, and the only now for the only custom kitchen knife I have from Aaron, my favorite Chinese cleaver in 5200. Thin spine, but it's stiff. I like that in a Chinese cleaver. Very thin, again not as thin as Patrick's, but not far from it. This was arrived very thin. I just thinned it out the bottom part here, as you see. Very even ground, flawless build. One thing many forget around this, Patrick also sometimes forget, when you pinch, you aren't resting there. If you use it for hours, do that. Also around here, Patrick too sometimes forgets. Lovely handle, olive wood, and what's it, purple heart. Lovely. Yeah, flawless blade. My favorite Chinese cleaver, or Kaidao. Again, takes a fantastic edge, holds it for extremely long since it's so thin. And while we're talking let's talk some sheep knives. This is when I get big meat pieces. Victorinox, cheap and quality. I would much rather buy Tojiro knives, either DP, the VG10 series that is, or their Shirogami line. But I've tinned this, so it's actually fairly thin, great handle, okay fit and finish. Yeah, it needs to be thin. I've tinned this, so it's thinner than many Japanese chef knives. That's my point. What do I say? Why wouldn't it start there? There. In kitchen knives, thinness are key. It's geometry that cuts. As you see, more than sharp enough. I got the same knife, just smaller, so I ain't bother showing it. I got some IKEA knives. Actually a very good handle, surprisingly good. Actually good in the pinch grip. I tinned that too, so this is okay thin. It's a little thick, but it's one my fiance often uses, but easily on par with Wüsthof, Henkel's, Swilling. They all use the same molybdenum vanadium stainless steel 50 CRMOV 15 blah blah blah. Very good knife for the money. Takes a fantastic edge. Can be made fairly thin. Good quality knife for the money that if you can sharpen, will do everything an expensive knife will. It just needs to be sharpened a lot more often. Cheap Tojiro Shirogami Nakri that I've seen hell and back. It was all rusted in my parents' house. They got it as a gift, and yeah, don't care about it. This ferrule is plastic and sucks. I super glued that on. I also mixed beeswax with a little food safe glue and put down here, so stop it rusting in the handle. Cheap handle, but functional. Now the ferrule is stuck. This is pretty thin since it's white steel. Can be made as sharp as the sharpener wants it. Good heat treat, very excellent for the money. These are cheap for the money, but fairly high quality. And again, razor sharp. Again, quality for the money. Now something that is wobbly as hell. I think you can actually see how crooked it is. Can you see that? How wavy and bent and twisted, but a lovely CCK. Got a little patina there actually. So yeah, lovely blade. Okay handle. Just okay. It's a workhorse. Don't expect a lot in fit and finish. Good steel, but yeah, it's a workhorse. Good quality. Takes a good edge. Is very thin. Very thin. Can you see that? That is a good knife. Two more pretty cheap Chinese cleavers. I love Chinese cleaver. Victorinox Fibrox. Again, tinned pretty much and polished. As you see, I've tinned over halfway up the blade. Pretty thin. Good quality. Good handle. I actually like the Fibrox handles more than wood handles. Takes a good edge. But again, pretty soft metal, so you need to sharpen it often. But a good blade for the money. Nothing wrong, just a plain workhorse. Now, for something that has surprised the hell out of me. This is X50 CRMOV 15 still. This has seen abused like hell. The ride scary sharp and very thin, as you see. I've abused and abused, it helps up. One thing I hate is this. Why? If I do like this, it won't fit. If I pinch, it won't fit. It's just in the way. But it's a great Chinese caliber for the money. I love the smile profile. Takes a screaming edge. I made this so sharp it could whittle here. And yeah, quality blades. But as I've said, in the kitchen you don't need to trust your life on a blade. And now for bad quality, it is, which I bought from eBay. It flexes. It actually, was it stuck again? Yeah, it come loose from the handle this other day. So yeah, now it's stuck again. I just put some glue in there and tapped it in. I have no clue if it's heat treated or everything. It's actually very thin. Extremely thin actually. Extremely uneven ground, like so badly ground. A 5-year-old could do better. It keeps its edge maybe for 10 minutes, then it needs to be touched up. But yeah, I just touch it up. It can be stroked. I use this for meat, and that's about it. But not quality. Bad quality. So, what are I'm saying here? In outdoor, you need, I'm sorry, that's toothpaste on here. In outdoor, you need to find a blade you trust if you are gonna use it. I would not trust a Mura. Of course, the full-time Garberg, but that is not cheap. I would trust, for example, the Varusteleka one. I can't remember its name, but they got a Puko full tang 80 CRV. I would trust that, but I would not trust a rat tail or half tang blade, full tang. If you just do light tasks, you can easily do it with that, with a folder. Easy to carry. If you are, how do I put it, if you want your knife to do whole tasks, get something like this. It can do everything from meal prep, everything. That's my old design, my own design. My new design, I added just a bit more length and height. And you see it's very similar to a kitchen knife. You can rock, you can slice, but it's still I got a pencil here now, but I can use this. Imagine if this is the wood. You can easily do fine tasks. I can easily, as you see, get curly cues, as you see. I can easily do fine tasks. I can easily do fine tasks back here. I can shop. Just does everything well. If you want a knife to build shelters, baton width, do everything, this would be it. If you want one knife to take out and survive, shop to make lavvo or a pig shelter that's more permanent, this would be it. This is a fantastic blade. So I hope this is a good video. I hope I don't piss off Patrick or Aaron. I love those guys and I love their blades. I'm gonna cut something with my slot just for fun to use up the paper. Most important of every aspect of a knife, keep it sharp. You can call Phil Wilson, for example, just to name a name, and get insanely good custom knife, pay whatever you want to pay, etc. from the best of the best of the best makers. It doesn't matter if you can't sharpen and keep them sharp. You can have a $5,000 knife, a $50,000 knife. Bob Kramer, I'm looking at you with those stupid ass prices. It's just silly. It's just silly to pay those amounts. You aren't getting a better knife. I would rather have a well-made knife from Patrick Kalvik than one from Bob Kramer, just because he's famous. There, I said it. Patrick makes some of the best kitchen knives and knives you will find. Aaron Johnson, if he gets more time to practice and he dares to go thinner, will also make some of the damn best knives you will ever find. But he needs to trust himself more than grinding and doing blade work. You can have a $50 knife, a $5 old hickory knife. If you know what your knife can do, you trust it to do those tasks, it's a quality knife. If it's a sharp knife, it's a quality knife. Don't just buy some Chinese or Pakistani or those crappy knives. The Kisser is maybe Chinese, but it's a high quality Chinese. I can't remember if it's Chinese, but I think so. And some good blades come out of China. Look at Spyderco. There is it Taishan, the factory in Taiwan, is actually the best making factory knives probably out there. So again, quality is quality no matter the price or cost. If you trust it, it can be a Opinel. Those blades are so soft in the steel, it's ridiculous, but they're thin and cut. It could be a old Victorinox like I got here, and no clue if it's sharp. I got no nails, so let's see here. Yep, it cuts, but these literally got dull just by looking at them. So soft. Can be somewhat something like that, but don't expect it to carve for hours. Invest in something you want. Kitchen knife, good quality Tojiro, never let me down. Their DP Veggie 10 line, excellent. Good knives are good knives. Outdoor Line, Steel, Spyderco, so many brands. If you go custom, go with a trusted maker. Don't go with, sorry to say, so many new makers that make small ninja tactical. Look at this Tanto here and Skull Breaker here, Window Breaker, neon colored, or many makers. One in Norway is very famous. He makes so thick military knives, they 6-7 millimeters thick knives. A knife is supposed to cut it. It's not a prying tool, it's not a batoning tool, it's a cutting tool. It's not a survival tool, it's a cutting tool. It's a knife. I would keep a thin knife to cut with. I'd much rather have a cheap, let's say a Becker, or maybe even get a Sion glass. It's a little expensive, but those would baton everything you need to baton, not without breaking. Then you can have a thinner, more knife for detail work. That's my point of view. Sorry for ranting. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the channel, like the video. I meant share the channel. I love you guys. Bye.